Hello there, my name is Lesley Pazdzioch, and to begin, I'd like to thank you for joining me in this. It's actually the first masterclass of many that are coming. And before I get started, I'd like to just say that each of these master classes, the intention behind them is to teach others the things that I learned along a journey that I took after it was through a long healing process, and it was the beginning of the journey. It started out, this is just a little of the history, but it started out for me wanting to know who I was and really why I was here. After really, I mean, if you want to know more about my story and more of the in-depth details, I'll leave a link in the description below that will really explain a lot of it. And what it was is I had gotten to the point in my life where life had gotten really stressful, and it got to be so much for me that mentally and emotionally I just froze. I just melted down. I just completely, it's like God, the best way I can explain it is that God had hit a reset button for me on my life and on my creation of myself. And it wasn't until I was asked one day who I was that that is the catalyst for everything for the past 17 years of my life. And during this time, when I was asked the question, I had explained my outer life about my new marriage and kids and my business and going to school and all these parts of my life. And when I was done, um, I was under I understood that they were aspects of my life. They weren't me. They weren't who I was. And I think that over the past 17 years, I've really sat down and I've taken the time to really figure out what that meant. What does it mean when somebody asks you who you are? Because there's a deeper meaning behind it than I think most of us realize. And throughout this journey, the most beautiful thing that I found was a relationship with myself, and most importantly, a relationship with the divine, with the creator of life. Christians, God. I can say God. If you're not a Christian, your belief systems are of another entity. That's part of it. That was part of the past 17 years of my journey. And while this masterclass won't go into it, other videos coming in the future will. And why I say that, God has many names, and he has many different ways for people to return home and really to understand why we're all here. And it was through this journey of having to rebuild my life at 40. I was 40 years old when this happened. And the journey of really trying to know who I was and why I was here, I just had no idea, because I was at the point where I just wanted to go. I just didn't want to be here anymore. I didn't want to deal with life anymore. And um, there was an experience where I just said, if I'm needed here, I'll stay. But if I'm not, I'm ready to go home. And I'm still here. 17 years later, I'm still here. But it's not about that aspect, because that's now in the past. It's the journey from that point forward that was probably the most beautiful journey I've ever taken in my whole entire life. And I think it was probably one of the I'd never do it again. I'd never want to go through that God hitting your reset button again. Never. However, because of what these past 17 years have taught me, it was irreplaceable. And I share this because I know that a lot of people right now are having to start over. Rather, you are coming to a new country because yours was threatened. A lot of people have come into the U.S. A lot of other people have gone into other countries because their lives have had to start over again, and it's scary, but it's doable. It's doable, and that's partly why I'm sharing my story now, is to motivate and to help others who are in similar situations to know that there is a reason. And you just, if you, even at your end of your rope, just tie a knot, because hopefully through this process, the change that the world's going through, that I will guarantee this will work for you. Anybody who's watching, this will work for you. And if you question, Lesley, why should we believe you? Don't believe me. I want you to believe yourself. I want you to believe in you. And here's what, and your divine guidance, your divine being, your divine entity. And before, I'm going to explain a few things, but before we start with that, and so that you know that what I'm saying is right for you, I'd like you to just take a few moments and just close your eyes and just ask, Holy Divine, if what Lesley has to tell us in this masterclass and future masterclasses along the way, if this is true for me, please show me and ask to be shown something. It doesn't, the smaller it's better, make it something simple. I certainly wouldn't ask for the winning lottery tickets number, for what Lesley's saying is winning lottery tickets number, because that's just too difficult. Ask to be seen a star or a turtle or a blue butterfly or whatever it is. And when you see it, then you will know that this is for you, that this information will help you, because this isn't about me. This is all about you. This is about what I learned, so that I can now show people what it was that I did to accomplish this beautiful relationship with our Creator, our divine Creator. And it is, and why I'm sharing this is because there's a significant reason why I'm sharing all this information. And the most crucial, or the most significant, or the reason, that's the first and only reason, is because humanity is changing. The world is changing drastically. We're all aware of it. And if you're not, let's look around. There are devastations happening everywhere, weather changes, rivers coming where they weren't before, and just strange things are happening. And it's because of a very, very, very spiritual reason. A very spiritual reason. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be spiritual just to watch this. It doesn't mean that you have to, get rid of your religion or the path that you're currently on to your divine, or following your divine. What this means is that this will show you to add to that relationship or that path that you're on. So this relationship comes to you, because this is how this is where humanity is shifting into. And it's utilizing our divine guidance. It's coming here with a reason and a purpose for your life and the lives around you, because every single human being is a soul first. It's a soul first. And the reason we're here is to better the world, to create beautiful things, to add to the world and to the collective consciousness. And when I talk about collective consciousness, I'll get into that a little bit deeper. But I want to set a precedence in beforehand. And as these master classes go on, I'm sure that I'll get better and better and be able to define it more. But what it means is we come here with a purpose and a meaning for our lives. And the only way I can relate to that religiously is to know that we come in to this world, perhaps using the analogy of original sin, right? We come here, and that original sin isn't ours. It's the task that we took on to change. We came here to make certain specific changes in the world. And we do this from within ourselves, and it goes outward to others. Heaven and earth are coming together. There's a process now happening where heaven and earth are coming together. And the whole point of our lives, as I said, is to better the world. But we all have this purpose, this meaning, this guidance that's available to us that's crucial for us to utilize, because this is why it was given to us in the first place. And people call it divine guidance. People call it guardian angels. They're all true. They're all true. We have guardian angels. We have divine guidance. We have our guardian angels. There's a whole entity, divine entity, created just to guide us through our lives. And this is what I want to share will show you how to connect with that entity on a 24/7 basis, so that you are building this relationship with the most beautiful aspect of your earthly life. Now here, let me start. I'm going to have to shift this, and kind of the lights didn't turn out very well, but that's all right. We'll have to make a note of that and change that next time. So here's what I mean. Let me find this. This is heaven, right? And we are coming as this beautiful little perfect soul. We are these perfect souls that then come in to our circle of life, right? We come here with 5 specific gifts, and we have talents. With our 5 specific gifts, we'll get into that in another video, but one of these gifts is our gift of guidance, our gift of divine guidance. Think of it as we are here like college students, right? When you go to college, you have all this freedom. So one of the gifts is free will. Another one is our divine guides. Another one is our innate inner knowing, our innate knowing, our senses, right? When we come in here, and we become human, obviously. I'm not an artist. We have these life experiences on our circle of life. Here's all of our life experiences, right? It is through these, and these are all interactions with others. So as we interact in our relationships with people, we determine who we are, right? Who are we? And it's how we, as people, as like, here's us, you, here's the other people. What are these interactions about? And are these interactions equaling growth? Because this is what all of our relationships and all of our interactions with others are for. It's to help us grow, to help us grow our soul into the purest form of perfection that it can be why we're here. Why we're here. And when our interactions with people leave us with false beliefs, right? We come up with these false beliefs about ourselves. Because somebody treats us poorly, or because we treat other people poorly. That's the thing that's really important here, to truly understand, is that while we're here, it's our own responsibilities to learn who we are, to grow ourselves. And the circumstances that we are born into are the very circumstances that are ideal. And I know some of us are born into families that aren't ideal, but they're the ideal situations for us to grow our soul. And I know that sometimes that's hard to believe, but I'll get to that and I'll show you how that takes place. But that's why we're here. So when something comes to us, this is how we change and how we meet the needs of why we're here, right? So if you, let me change this. So if you are born into a situation that was very harsh, or you experience something, rather you're born into it, rather, the harsh experiences in our lives, it's how you're treated, right? That we start forming these false beliefs. Because we're treated a certain way that really is less than what we truly are. It takes away from us instead of adding to us, right? And so then we have to heal those. Then we have to begin to heal those experiences that have happened in the past. And this is now I want to get into that healing aspect. When we have experiences in our life that leave us with these, let's call them, they're false beliefs, right? They're false beliefs. We create them within ourselves, not only by how other people treat us, but we also create them by how we treat other people. And all of our interactions with each other, we go back to this circle of life with all of our experiences that we have, right? It's in these interactions that we form who we are. We can either judge others, right? Or we can accept others, right? That means we have to accept others' behaviors, etc. We have to just accept who they are. We don't have to accept what they think of us. We just have to accept of who they are and what they're doing in their lives. And by doing this, we can do it by observation of all of our circumstances, and experiences, right? Instead of judging it, reacting to it, if we took a moment and just observed, and then we look within ourselves, right? Because we're here to create who we want to be. We're here to create our life, ourselves, our soul. We're here to grow. If it's a negative situation, whether it's what somebody does to us or what we do to others, it all has an impact on who we become, how we treat others, and how we allow others to treat us. It's all in this circle of life. That's how it all Um, that's how it all comes about. So let's just I'm just going to take a moment here and really talk about this in a greater detail. You know, we all want to heal, and we want to heal these things within us that are hindering us, that are keeping us back, that are keeping us stagnant, right? And you know, we go to therapy and we try to work out all these things with our life experiences, and we start looking at our past, and we're trying to make sense of it, and it's not making a lot of sense to us because for one, I'm gonna have to not sit down here. So when we try to process, right, we're processing our experiences from the circle of life, right? We're processing these experiences. The traditional way of doing it now, it's always blame. There's always a blame. There's always got to be somebody to blame for it. But what if there wasn't? You either blame yourself or two, others. The problem with this is that we keep coming back to this hamster wheel when other things come to it, when other things happen in our lives. Because if it's a belief or a situation that we created early on in life, we're carrying it with us, and it's accumulated more experiences. And this is why our minds trigger us backwards into certain patterns and behaviors. But what if there was a new way? What if instead of this, and we got rid of this, right? What if we got rid of this? And instead, we took the third option, right? We took the third option. And the third option is by observation. We're going to observe things from here moving forward. We're going to, because healing isn't necessarily, it's healing, but if you looked at it as learning about you, what can I learn about me from this situation? We can't go back and change anything. But what's happening is we can change what's going on within us so that these experiences don't continue to build up inside of us, right? So instead of blaming others and blaming yourself, this third observation is observation, right? So and I call this healing forward. So let's learn how do we heal forward? Because it's going to be an amazing, amazing experience. It's by looking at situations you take right now, your current now. If you take the current now and you say right now, from this very moment, I'm going to start observing all of my interactions with others. And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to learn what part of it is me and what part of it is the other person. But in order really to get to this part where you can observe, to grow, you first, to get to this point, you have to know who you are. You have to know who you are, not by what's being told that you are, but you have to, and how you know who you are is from the inside. It's living your life from the inside out. Who am I? Who am I? You get to define this. Actually, it's already been defined. You just need to find it within you because it's there. It's there. It's this beautiful part of you that is so loving, that is so understanding, that is so full of compassion. And it's the part of you that's connected to your guidance system. It's the part of you that shows you not to judge, not to blame, not to shame, not to criticize, but to observe and learn more about you, right? We're going to learn more about who we are. And then we're going to decide why you are here. Because let me tell you, my friends, you have a very significant reason beyond what you could ever imagine. And it is the most beautiful thing. And it is the most beautiful gift you could ever give to yourself. And the most profound aspect of it is once you find it, you are going to ripple it out into the world in such a beautiful way. And humanity will start living the way it's supposed to be lived. Living life the way it's supposed to be lived. Because we all have a purpose. We are in this lifetime right now. This is our life journey. On our life journey, on a soul mission. Our soul, first of all, we're a soul. We are on a soulful mission to accomplish what we came here to accomplish during our life journey. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. But then here's another part. You have to figure out what that is. You have to determine who you are, figure that out. And then you have to decide why you're here. Because our brains are here to create. This is why it gets so crazy in our heads. Because it's creative. We're trying to find and make sense and attach to things that we've known and that we've done and that we're familiar with to keep us safe. But this is a survival technique. But if you know who you are and you shift to knowing who you are and in your mind, in your disposition, or your place is coming from a place of peace and balance, your mind will start creating the most beautiful things and experiences you could ever imagine, all from just knowing simply who you are, by you determining who you are. Now let's talk about, I know I should probably write this on a bigger board or something. Maybe I'll put it on some paper and we'll flip through it. But let's talk for a minute about how do you determine who you are, right? Let's say, okay, Lesley, I get that. I understand that I'm here and this is my authentic self, right? Be your authentic self. This expression is used a lot, and I think it's kind of misunderstood in some aspects, because our authentic selves are our soulful being. That is our authentic self. It's that soul part of you that is perfect, divinely created, and here to have fun. We are here to enjoy this life experience. We aren't here to suffer. We're here to learn and grow. And once we connect to this aspect of us, even the hardest things that we have gone through in our life make sense. All the pain that we've been through up until now, it makes sense. And you'll be like, it'll be like this this rush that will come over you of such, I call it enlightenment of, oh my God, now I understand. Now I understand. And once you get this, and it's not hard, trust me, it's so much easier than we make it out to be. But when that epiphany comes to you, and you open up, heaven and divine rain down upon you like you cannot believe. But you got to have confidence in yourself. And I'm telling you, I'm about as I'm an open book. And if you have questions, let me know, because I will guide you the best I can. But the truth is that this is your journey. This life is about you, for you, because of you. And you are damn important. And nobody has the right, not even you, to take it away from you or anybody else. And when we mistreat people, it comes, let me just, because that's where I want to go next, but be kind to yourself. And part of being kind to yourself is being kind to other people. Because how you treat others creates some of the beliefs and the false beliefs that you have within yourself, right? Let's use prejudice, right? Prejudice. People are prejudiced against colored people or people that are opposite of whatever nationality or whatever physical makeup that they look like, right? That's a false belief. It's a false belief. Because if you really look at why, I sometimes ask, why did I end up with this thin hair and this pale skin that burns with, I just burn, and my hair, it's hard to maintain fair skin and really thin hair, right? That's because I came from a place, my nationality, or my genes, my ancestors came from a place where it was darker, where it was it was less sun, there was less heat, and it was a way for me to survive, right? I needed to survive. I needed less pigment in my skin so the sun can come into my skin, come into my body, and I can create the physical chemistry in my own body, right? That's why we go out in the sun, we create vitamin D to be in the sun. But it was my environment. It's the environment from my ancestors that gave me what I look like. Much like African Americans. They have some of the most beautiful skin, and their hair. They're some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. They radiate. And the reason their skin's so dark is because the sun was so hot. And if I would have been in that situation, I would have burnt up and I would have been a crispy critter. I would have never survived. I would have never survived. Never survived. This is why we look different. This is why our physical bodies look different. But inside, we're all the same. So having these prejudice against people that are Asian or people that are this or people that are that, that's a false belief that has to be overcome in order for you to open up to this guidance. All of these false beliefs that you hold about yourself, not only about you, but about others as well, has to dissipate. You have to figure that out within inside of us so that we don't have those judgments of others, so that we accept everything and we let people be who they are so we can be who we are. Does that mean people are going to let us, accept us who we are? No. But it's not up to other people to determine who we are. It's up to us. And when we hold firm in who we are and really look out into the world to say, how can I learn more about me through my interactions with others? so that I can have the purest soul. It's having that pure inner soul. It's living your personal truth that allows this beautiful relationship between you to happen. It doesn't need to be there before it opens up. That's something that comes along in your journey with your divine. So let's talk about, what does it take, Lesley? What does it take for me to begin to open up to this guidance? How can I open up and receive this beautiful gift so that I can grow my soul? And this is how you do it. This is how you do it. You start today and you ask yourself, who am I? It's a pretty powerful little 3 words right there. Ask who you are. Ask yourself, who am I? What are your morals? What are your values? What are your standards? Right? What are your non-negotiables? What are your non-negotiables? What makes you you? What is it about you that you stand firm, your beliefs? And I'm talking about beliefs from a traditional standpoint. Right? What do you believe? And it's this. It's not about, oh, I believe that the sun comes up, or I believe internally. What do you believe internally? What do you stand for? What makes you you? And when you figure out what these are, what's important to you? If you want honesty, we have to be honest. If we want if we want others to treat us with integrity, then we treat others with integrity, and we treat ourselves the same way. When we put out what we want and what we stand for, it comes back to us, right? Does it mean that other people are going to be honest? No. But what it does mean is that if you live your belief systems and you interact with others with the same belief system that is truly coming from inside, it's what you already know. You don't have to go look for this and determine it now, because it's already inside of you. You just have to figure out how to connect with that. How do I figure out who I am on the inside? How do I figure that out? Well, here's how you figure it out. Through balance. When you can live your life, and I call this my 50-yard line. This means that I am neutral. I'm balanced. That everything, I emotionally, mentally, and physically, I'm in perfect balance. So what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what I'm doing is all in alignment with my heart, with my desires, with my goals, with my intention, with your intentions. So when you find balance, your mind, your body, right, and your actions, mind, body, when your mind, let's see, mind, body, when you're physically, mentally, and emotions, right, are in sync with your intention, this will bring us to balance. Will bring us to balance. Anything below balance, these are negative emotions. Anything really above it, they are elevated emotions, right? They're elevated, they're like euphoria. And sometimes we think that we can do certain things, right? When we're feeling, have you ever felt like, oh my God, I'm on top of the world today? And you write yourself a to-do list that's about 7 miles long, and there's absolutely no way you know that you can really achieve that to-do list. I mean, yay to have those ambitions, but really, can we do it? We have to be practical, but we have to be reasonable about what we really can truly do. But so anyway, let me go back to this. So there's balance. We find our inner balance, and we find it through peace and harmony, right? Peace and harmony. But it's the peace and harmony that we find through our interactions with others. When we are interacting with other people and it's an uncomfortable situation, with it, on the exterior, right, and it's causing us to feel anxiety, or it's causing us to feel fearful, or blame, or shame, or regret, or anything other than we're interacting in harmony with each other. And they're going to come. They're supposed to be here. They're supposed to happen. But the way we find our peace and our balance and we look at, later on we think, and we start reviewing or rehearsing it in our minds, and we kind of get pissed off at some certain situations where we weren't treated fairly, or we didn't treat them fairly, right? So let's go with the first example. When we are disrespected, right? Let's talk about disrespect. There's when you are the one, or them. When you are disrespected, there's emotions and feelings that go alongside of that. But what are those emotions and those are feelings, right? Are they things that you are that have been put on you by another person? Because when we're disrespected by others and our feelings are hurt, or they've really done something to hurt us, to make us question our value, to belittle us, we need to be able to find peace within ourselves by sifting and sorting through that information and understanding, because we know who we are now. And when we sift and sort through that information, then we're able to take what's ours, take responsibility for what's ours, right? And then give back to the other person what's not yours. And when it's something that's really when this interaction, when you start to do this, I don't want to get too far into it because I don't want to set any I really want to be careful about how I say this, because you're going to know inside of you, and it's different for everybody. But you will know what's yours and what's not yours. And when you can sift that out, and you can take responsibility for what's yours, is this something that I want to add to me that's going to add value to me? Everything's going to add value, right? Is it something you're going to learn from? Or is it something that you admired about that person, or another person, that you say, oh, we have that in common? This is something that I value about me, and now I see it in another person. These are those interactions with others that we need to have. But when it's a disrespectful interaction, we get to understand what's ours and what's their judgment, what's their insecurities, because we do the same thing. Because when the roles are reversed and it's us disrespecting others, we're going to start really recognizing what we're feeling. Whether it's us or them, and we just shift those perspectives depending on where we're standing, on which side of the 50-yard line that we're standing, teaches us a lot about ourselves and others, about where they are or where you are when you are either disrespected or you are disrespecting to others. Where were you in that moment? You know, all of us want forgiveness. All of us want to be forgiven when we do something that maybe we're not so proud of, right? We all want to find that forgiveness, and we have to start asking. We have to start asking for that forgiveness. And the biggest thing that helped me, let's sit down here. The biggest thing that helped me along my journey is this. I looked at when I took responsibility for the times that I disrespected others. And I went to these people. Only the ones that kept repeating in my mind. At certain times, if it would repeat in my mind, I would go to them and I would apologize. I would confess to them, you know what? I did this and I'm really not pleased with it. And I want to apologize for it. And that's it. The same thing goes when somebody disrespects you, right? You look inside yourself and you say, you know what? You can either confront them and forgive them, or you can just do it inside of yourself. That's completely up to you. But somehow, when you are able to make peace, this is how your divine connection comes in. When you are able to make peace, to create peace and harmony within yourself, and have that balance in those situations where you feel less than you actually are. When you're able to make peace and balance with those at that particular time, as you move forward in life, not looking back, but as you move forward and you start to see these things coming up and they're happening over and over again, and you start to look inside of you and you start to really put those pieces to that puzzle in the right place. When you're disrespected or when you're disrespecting, it gives you a perspective where you can see the other person's position on both. When you disrespect them, right? It gives you a different, it allows you to see the other person's side of things. And it gives you an opportunity to make amends. And you're not making amends. This is all about forgiveness. This is where forgiveness comes in. It's not about forgive and forget. You know, we're often told from the time that we're little, you know, just forgive and just forget it and grow a thicker skin. And no, growing a thicker skin to me means allowing it to happen, you know, ignoring the fact that it happened and getting a thicker skin, building a wall. But that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness, true forgiveness. Even in the Bible, Jesus said, forgive 7 times 70. Forgive 7 times 70 for every incident. So when you can forgive yourself for being, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're not having a good day, you're just, things in your life are not going well, and you snap at another person just because they were on your path. It's not intentional, but you just did because you just had enough. It's going to that person and apologizing. It's noticing, realizing, taking accountability, and apologizing. Taking responsibility, showing yourself, hey, telling yourself, hey, this wasn't right. This wasn't in my best interest, and I certainly know it wasn't in theirs. And going back and apologizing for that. And if that person looks at you and thinks you're nuts, who cares? It's not about them. It's about you. And in a way it is about them. But if they don't understand, just say, hey, you know what? This was really weighing hard on me. And I just needed to clear my conscience or clear my soul or whatever you want to call it. I just wanted to make amends, to bring peace back to myself from this interaction. And the same goes when people disrespect you. If you want to confront them or what have you, or maybe this person's passed away. I know that when I started this healing, this healing process, it started with forgiving, really confronting stuff in my life that was weighing heavy on me, that had caused me just to fall apart and literally melted mentally and emotionally and physically, melted down to almost nothing. And the whole process of rebuilding, when God hit that reset button in my life, which I am so grateful for, so grateful. Never would I do it again. Hell to the no with that. Never would I do it again. Never. But I'm very, very mindful of what took me there, what it was about me that ended up having those results within me and melting down when I was 40. I honestly look at it as the 40 years, my first 40 years were like being in the desert and being, set free. I think when God hit that reset button when I was 40, it's like he led me out of the desert. He led me out of this lost, confused place. And it was through this process of forgiveness and understanding and really figuring out who I was. It's knowing who I was through my interactions with others, confirming or changing or shifting or whatever. Healing, they call it healing, but it's growing. It's we're going to heal what's inside of us that's bothering us, right? We're going to heal that by moving forward and making those different changes, because it's going to be like a domino effect. When you change that, all the stuff in the past, you have an epiphany of how and why it happened. The light comes on and you're like, damn, I wish I would have known that. But that's what it's about. We're closed off and we don't see it until we start moving forward within our truth, within who we really are. And it really starts at getting to know thyself, getting to know who you are, what makes your heart beat, what brings you joy, what excites you, what makes you smile, what are your dreams? What do you dream about? There's many that have gone through a lot of the healing process, and then we end up kind of numb. Well, you end up numb, and then you start going through this healing process, and then you can get to a point where you've done this inner work, right? You've done all this inner work, and then you look back and you know, I mean, that took a lot. For me, it took a lot because I tried. I mean, I was like, it's almost like I carved the path out of the jungle, which I am so blessed now to teach others. Um, but when you have to carve that path out, you kind of don't want anything to disturb it. And taking steps forward, God, you don't want to make a mistake. And when you have this relationship with your divine, and I know that people now are just blaming themselves and they carry this guilt. But let me tell you what, that's not how they work. That's not how they work. Your divine entity does not condemn you. It doesn't shame you. It does not punish you. It does not do any harm to you. What they do when you're having your little pity party, or you spend 2 days in bed crying, or whatever, you know, the case may be, or when you're just really depressed because you just feel worthless, right? They sit right next to you. And then when they know that you're ready, or when they decide that when it's time to interact again, they send you little messages and little clues. They say, now get up. Get up. Because during this time when you're sitting there and you're going through these thoughts, and the way that you grow from those moments is really sifting and sorting through this healing process. And these healing processes are beautiful gifts we give ourselves, right? They're beautiful gifts. Does it sting a little bit? Yeah. Sometimes it really hurts because we realize, gosh, what was I thinking when I did that? Or why would this person have done this? Those are the parts that sting. Those are the parts and the times when we don't understand. We don't understand why people do what they do. But to make it stop stinging is acceptance. You accept that they were there. That's what they chose. And then you have compassion or empathy, because if you think to yourself, where would I have been if I were in that situation? If I were treating people like that, what would I be feeling about me? You know, here's an example. I had an employer. It was my last employer that I ever really worked for, and he would take money from people, and it would be like, you know, he'd short your hours or do something. And anyway, over a 1.5 year period of time, it added up to like $5,000 to me. It was more than that with paid holidays and stuff, but these are just hours, you know, that I worked for him. In a 1.5 years, he had cheated me out of like $5,000. And I was really angry. And then I realized, Lesley, where would you have been if you would have done that? When you flip the roles and you look at it from a different perspective, a 360 perspective, and you can see, where would a person be if this were where they were? And not only can you have compassion for them, but it opens up your internal awareness of when these things occur. It heightens your intuition so that you are going to be more in tune, because you are going to listen to your guidance, because you've already confirmed and made it a part of you that is not something that you want to project nor do you want to accept. And your intuition will heighten, and you will become hypersensitive to things that are not just, things that are not fair, things that are not in your best interest. All the time? No. But most of the time, yes. It happens to you. Having a relationship with the Holy Divine is the way you get it. You don't have to. What it's really about is living your personal truth. It's uncovering all those layers of things that are blocking you from you, that are keeping you from your inner peace and your balance. It's taking down all those barriers and all those walls that you've built up for years over time. It's forgiving others for the way they've treated you, and having compassion for them, and realizing your worth. Life, I heard a woman say today, life is really short. And if we're going to be spending our time, which is so precious, time is the most precious commodity we have. And if we're going to be spending it worrying about what other people are doing to us and feeling sorry for ourselves, that's a wasted life. It's a wasted life. But if we could spend the time learning more about ourselves from these interactions and being able to walk away from these interactions in balance, in peace, having peace and harmony from it, and we're walking in balance, life gets easier. Does it mean that you're going to be able to make sense of every situation? No. But it fills in pieces of your puzzle. Because remember, this is your canvas. This is your canvas of life. You are the Picasso. You get to paint whatever you want. And if there's something on your canvas that isn't suiting you, then you get to paint over it. If you want to change it. But these are choices that you get to make. You have choices and decisions that you get to make for you. And as you make these choices and you're going through life, your friends are going to change. Your environments are going to change. You're going to change and grow. Be flexible in this process. Be flexible in it. Because this life's a beautiful journey. It's supposed to be a beautiful journey. And when you can live it from a place of peace and balance, and then you can find that inner confidence. I'll tell you, the confidence part of it, for me, has been my biggest struggle, is really believing in me and being okay with it. Because not having a sense of self, and then all of a sudden discovering it in my own little cocoon, and then having to take that out into the world and live it, and trying to navigate through these interactions and through these experiences. It can be it's an adjustment, right? We have to be flexible. We have to learn how to adjust in these situations. And honestly, that's been my hardest. It's been my struggle. So if you're struggling with how to be your authentic self in the real world, you're not alone. But if you find that inner knowing, that inner sense of self, it will guide you. And you'll realize that even if there's nobody around you, you're never alone. You're never alone. And all you have to do is call on them. Please show me the way. Please help me see what's in here. Please help me, Holy Divine, guide me to my truth, guide me to my core. They will be on it like nothing, because they're there. We just have to acknowledge their existence and pay attention. And it comes through your body. That's why people say, raise your energy, raise your energy. Raising your energy is through your positive emotions. You communicate through your physical body, because heaven doesn't have words. They can speak to you through songs. They can speak to you through leaving certain things like pennies, loose change, rainbows, birds, feathers, whatever. They can leave you little things to say, hey, we're here. We're here for you. We have your back. But when you want something, we can't just ask verbally. We have to feel those emotions. And we have to know we deserve it. And sometimes it's through really understanding that we deserve this. We deserve to live the life we're here to live. We deserve to be happy. We deserve to follow this guidance. We deserve to live our greatest life. And we most certainly deserve to make our own choices and our own decisions about what we want in our life. And if the people around us don't like it, then they have to, just like we accept others, let others be and be on their journey. And love them and appreciate them, because you have shared core values. That's how you pick the people that you want around you, is you share core values. And you have so much diversity in all other aspects of life, but if you share the same core values, you will grow the most. Your soul will grow the most through these shared core values, because you can trust them. But they're so much different than you that they're giving you opportunities to grow yourself, to confirm what you already believe, or to adjust it, or to change it, or to even create a new belief or a new self-awareness. And I know that this masterclass is probably really, this is the first time, and I just want these to come from my heart. I don't want to script it. I want them to all be created from within me and my own self-expression. I don't want to sound like a robot and repeat myself. So each one of these master classes will always be different. If there's something that I skipped or that you don't understand in any of them, they'll all be on YouTube. The only note you have to take is write down the date and go back and watch that. And if you found value in this, please let me know, and let me know which aspect you found value as well. If there's something that you want more clarity on, I think I'll put a link to a form. I think I'll create a form so that I will have that feedback. That's a really good idea, Lesley. You should do that. But I would really appreciate your feedback, and if you're struggling with something with some of these interactions with people and how to really deal with it, those are going to be topics that we'll discuss too. But mostly these masterclasses are going to be about solidifying a way to communicate with others about this process. This is my purpose, right? This is what I've chosen. To do for others. This is my gift to the world, because we all have such a purpose. And to those of you that are out there that you just want to give up, don't. Please don't. I have been there, and even yesterday I thought, if this doesn't work, I'm done. Just done. Because I'm tired. We get tired. When you try and you try and you try and you're trying to figure it out, give yourself a break. Because let me tell you what, as long as you're trying, look for those emotions inside of you that are going to bring you balance. If you're really low, find some way to bring yourself back up. You can say to yourself and admit these things to yourself. I am really feeling like shit. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know how I got here. I really don't care how I got here. All I want to know is, Lesley, how am I going to get out? How are you going to get out? What are some things that are going to help you get out of this mess? Are you really stuck? No, I'm not stuck. I know I'm not stuck. I know there's a way out. I just have to figure it out. I know that I'm creative enough. I know that I can do this. When I'm here, I don't really like myself, but I want to like myself again. I know I can like myself. I'm just going to really start appreciating who I am. I'm going to start looking for my good. I'm going to start looking for the value within me. And when you start to say these things to yourself, you start to really believe it. But, just have a conversation with yourself. Have it in the mirror. Take a walk in the grass barefoot if you can. Get out into nature. Nature's a really so good, so good. Have a talk with yourself. If anybody looks at you like you're crazy, tell them you're self-employed and you're having a staff meeting. Right? It doesn't matter what other people think. It really doesn't. Just talk to yourself. Just ask yourself questions, because all those answers will come. Journal. Sometimes I just have to talk to myself because I can't write fast enough. Talk into your phone, into a recorder, if you want to keep notes. Whatever it takes to bring you back up into your balance so that you can feel good about who you are. But you cannot hear, one of the things too, you cannot hear, I have something on my eye, you cannot hear their guidance within you when you're lower. There will be things around you that can guide you, but if you're not at that place of balance, oh, I should write that down. Here we go. This is huge. Here's your balance. Right? If you're below it, you can't hear them. Inside. But when you're above, you can. You can hear inside, and you can see on the outside the proper direction. That's how you know. That's how you know. This is how you hear. And you don't have to do anything other than just ask from where you are right now, when this is over with, whatever time you want. Ask. Just ask them. Let me know you're there. If you are really there, God, if you are really there, Allah, or whatever you believe in, whomever you worship, if you are really, really there guiding me, show me whatever. If what Lesley has to say is true, show me whatever. But better yet, you're going to know. If you ask, you're going to know if they're there. Because inside of yourself, and I think everybody's felt this before, you've ever been sitting somewhere and all of a sudden just out of nowhere, you get this chill that goes through you. It's like your hair on your arms stand up. Or, there's just this tingly feeling, right? I have a, well, I'm not going there. Yeah, I'm not going there. There's a tingle that will go through your body. We've all felt it, just out of the blue. It's like, ooh, do you get the shivers? That's them. And when you ask them to come and let you know that they are there for you, that's what you're going to feel. And the more you talk to them and the more you align with them, that feeling just comes over you and it just starts to vibrate your whole entire body. And my friends, there is not another better feeling in this entire world than to know. And I'll guarantee you, it is my promise to you, and I can feel them now, that if you, at this very moment that you're watching this video, you ask, show me you're there, they're going to do it. You will feel that tingle inside of you. You're going to feel those emotions, and they're going to be so overwhelming. You will feel so much love inside of you, like I can feel right now. My eyes are watering. You will just, the love that you feel inside of you, that's their love. That's their unconditional, that's them pouring love into you, because that's all they're about. That's all they're about. And when you lose that disconnect, it's because something's not being processed correctly, or you've let go of it, or you're not following them, and you just walk with them 24/7. So much grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you for walking with me. I'm grateful that they have been with me. Before I even started this masterclass, I said, Holy Divine, show me how to teach people. Show me how to guide people to you. Show me how to give this gift to the world, so that you and them, you can have this relationship with others. That's all I want. That's my biggest desire. My biggest goal in life is to make sure that I do everything I can to teach people that they can have this and what their lives are truly about. Because without it, we're lost. But with it, the world's endless. The possibilities are endless. And when this starts happening and more people start connecting, the world is going to shift. It's going to shift. The more people that this reaches, the greater the shift. It's like a ripple, and it's going to be turned into a wave, and it's going to spread across the world. And my friends, you can either be on one, there's two sides of history. The world's changing right now. Heaven and earth are coming together, and there's going to be a separation, and we have to decide which side of history are you going to be on. Are you going to be on the healing side of forgiveness and new beginnings and learning and growing, or are you going to be on the side of holding on to things that aren't serving you? Which side are you going to be on? Because you can't be on both. You can't walk on that 50-yard line of history. You either have to be in the old, or you have to be in the new. You have to live in the past, or you have to move forward in the future. But let me tell you something. That relationship, and I know they're saying to me, you can feel it. People that this message is going to grasp, you're going to feel it. Your body's going to be vibrating. You're going to be feeling this, maybe for the first time, this tingly, this euphoric feeling inside of you that's just, you just want to burst. And that's them. That's what you want. And you want to maintain that. And they'll show you how to get to your core. Just ask them. And if I can help you with anything, I mean, I'm here, I created a course over the past 2 years to really help people identify within themselves who they are. And if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description here on the video. Let me know. I am so willing to help people. It's a pilot program, and it's going to be really something else over this next 2025. And I highly suggest getting into it now, because it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that there's no wait lists that come up in the future. And I'm just really excited and pleased for this opportunity. I feel blessed to have been able to navigate my way through what I've been through. And it was not easy, but it was worth it. And I am honored, and I just can't even tell you how pleased that God has chosen me to teach this to others. And when you start living this, tears of joy. It's just tears of joy. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this little adventure of mine. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you have any comments, put them below. And if there's anything that I can do for you, please let me know. Thank you again for watching, and I hope that you really enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.